move it all around us.
Okay, perfect.
Very much works.
Okay, great. I don't have to worry too much about it. I don't know though. I'm extremely clumsy, so this could
Just
go.
a clumsy human. This all the time.
Super clumsy human. It's bad. It's actually embarrassing.
I feel it.
Quite frequently am embarrassed by it. Like, so don't say that because like I might mess it up.
Fair enough. Are you one of those people where it's like, don't think of an elephant and that's like all you just think about?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I am. Honestly, that's such a good way to put it. Just elephant, and more so, I'm the elephant, and that's it. Like I'm just stomping around. Like somebody told me that I walk with like heavy steps, and I've thought about that my entire life because I do. And I try not to.
I feel it, She-Hulk. Okay,
Yeah.
fair enough.
Something like that.
I feel it. But what's up, y'all? It's your host, Sensei AK, and I'm back again with another episode. I'm not my co-host, but I'm with
Mia. It's so good to see you guys.
Of course. So for the longest time, I thought I was like really overweight when I was younger. And then I look back at the pictures of myself when I was younger. It's like, no, I just look like I play football. Like
Right.
at the worst.
So funny that you look back and you're like, wait, why didn't I fuck with myself then? Because like I was kind of cool. Like I was chilling.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then it got to the point where as I got older, I realized that like the way that I connected myself to the way I look was like a very big thing, right? Because of one thing that I learned, when I am in shape, the world just seems a lot like cheerier than when I'm like not. Yeah. You feel me? So it's not really so much as like there's societal reinforcements, but it's like I just noticed the way people would just like talk to me.
Yeah, how they treated you.
Exactly. It was just naturally different. And then it really got me thinking, if that's like the way a lot of people are like looking at exercise, it's not really like they're not doing it for like the benefits of it. They're really just doing it for the benefit of the others. Really.
Is it for you or is it for other people, which is like a huge thing? Because it is like that like two-part thing where it's like, is it for other people or is it because I just genuinely want to feel better about myself? And I think that's when exercise becomes the most beneficial, is when you really just do it because it makes you feel good. And like you get up, you work out, you do 30 minutes of exercise, you run, you jog, you ski, you snowboard, you do whatever you want to do, get that energy out and feel better about yourself. Or is it, the society? Because people do treat you differently. That's a huge part of it, like looking good for other people or like wanting to feel good because other people are going to be like, wow, you look really good. Like you're looking skinny, or like, wow, what have you been doing? And that is like a really toxic part of it. I think too, for me, when I first started working out, that was a huge thing for me.
As a woman, is that like a big thing, the way that you look? Is that a thing that you always like keep in mind?
Yeah, for sure. It's insane too, because I think we were talking about this when we first met a little bit. It's like women, and I think most women can relate to this, think about their physical appearance and their weight like every day, like almost all the time. And I know it's not like that for every single person, but I'd say like the majority of women, it's a huge thing. It's something you're constantly thinking about. But in this society, like value for a woman, like when it comes to like how you think of a high value woman or a high value man, for women, beauty and your physical appearance is that's highly what it's attached to.
Yeah, it's a very highly commodified thing.
Yeah.
Does that trouble you when you actually? It's more. Here's what I'm trying to say more. Do you find yourself like there's never an end to how like much you're working and how much you're putting on yourself? Or you're just always in the constant state of just trying to be beautiful?
For me, exercise, I've really disassociated it from that. It's become like, for me, it just makes me feel good. Like I exercise because if I go to the gym, I feel better. Sorry, I'm gonna go a little off track, but I was watching this video and they were talking about how emotions are really just like energy in motion. Like you need to put that energy somewhere. So exercise for me became like a source of like how to like get rid of my like extra energy, or like how like if I was feeling any type of emotion or I needed an outlet, like that's what exercise became for me. It just grounded me. It became a constant thing in my day. But there is a portion in like exercise and like my gym life and process where it's like, oh, you start to lose the weight, and like we were talking about before, like people start like making comments like, you look really good, like you look skinny. Like even just yesterday I was at an event and somebody I knew like a long time ago was like, wow, like you look skinnier and stuff. And like, I mean, at this point I'm like, oh great, like you look skinnier too, like awesome, like you're looking great and whatever. But it's, I mean, earlier that I would hear that and be like, wow, like I look skinnier, like I look better, like I want to keep working out, I want to keep going, keep pushing and pushing and pushing, and hearing those things and hearing that I look better and hearing that I whatever, and like feeling confident and getting compliments and stuff. Like, I'm sorry, I kind of went off track from the question. What was the original question again?
No, you keep going. No, but basically like the way that I was trying to put it, it was like, do you feel like you're attached to the idea of working out like really hard now because of all like the benefits of it?
I mean, that's hard. That's hard. It's just like, there's so much to it. At this point, I don't think so. I think I really do it because I just enjoy it. I'm a physical person. I love being active. And now it's like just kind of part of my life. Like I don't feel as good when I'm not, like I don't have that outlet every day. It grounds me. It's like, this is something I'm doing every single day. But it's easy to go in the opposite direction. I feel like for a while when I was working out, I did have like those feelings of like, this is because, well, initially I really did want to lose weight and I wanted to get more active, but I wanted to lose weight and I wanted to look and feel better. And then when I started to noticeably lose weight and look better to society's standards, I was hearing like all of these compliments. I feel like people treated me so different. Like there was people,
how so?
People would just walk up to me and be like, oh, do you model? Or like, you're so beautiful and stuff. And you know, I feel like I was always really a really outgoing person. So like people would talk to me before, but it was just so different. Like growing up, like I wasn't like, you know, everybody's crush in school. Like I have like really funny photos because I was super tall. Like I was the tallest one and I was like bigger. And like I still am. I'm still like tall and like muscular and big, but it's like I've kind of reframed how I view that. And I don't know. I don't know. It's interesting. People like there's definitely like pretty privileged and like privileged to looking a certain way or being a certain weight, or it's like a whole nother class in American society or whatever.
No, I feel that. No.
Have you felt any like shifts like that in your life with like body image and changes like that?
Yeah, no, definitely. Before I go into that, you mentioned hormones and how your energy just like naturally, or how you feel is more just like a shift of energy, right? So one of the things that I'm here in this school stuff to do, I'm gonna eventually become a therapist, right?
Cool.
And I feel like one of the main things I'm gonna like push on people instead of like telling them, oh, take this drug if you're feeling depressed or anything like that. First, try exercise. That's the way that I'm gonna try to like push it down, because I've realized if there could be a pill that did the same thing that exercise did, there'd be no depression. There would like there'd be no nothing. All the bad things in the world probably just
That's
go
really
away.
Important. That's really cool. No, thanks. Because too, I feel like in the society, like drugs and all of those like pharmaceutical shits, I don't know, like that was a terrible way to put it, but are really pushed onto us like as people. Like take this drug, like you have a problem, take that drug. When in reality, it's like, I mean, I'm not saying like don't take your meds. Like if you need meds, definitely do that. That's important. But also look at what you're doing in your life. What are you eating? What are you doing? Like,
are you eating in the first place?
Yeah, are you eating enough? Like, are you eating at all? Like, are you what are you putting in your body? Like, do you eat ever fruits and vegetables? Do you eat anything that's grown from the ground? And like, I'm working on that still for sure. It's an everyday process and it's really hard. If you're not, it's not your fault. Like we live in America, it's really hard, but look into it more because it does affect how you're feeling. And are you moving around? Like even if it's just like walking around your house a couple of times, just walking period. I mean, you, especially now that we're in the kind of like COVID era and like that kind of thing, like people don't move as much, like we're all online. So much is like easily accessible to us, like via laptops, via cell phones, anything. Like, we don't really have to move as much as we ever had to. So
no, facts.
Yeah, no. Eat enough, walk, breathe air. Like, you would feel so, it's crazy because I was so depressed. Like, let me tell you, like, when it was COVID, I was door dashing food like every single. I worked at the Y. I was spending like full paychecks on DoorDash. It was fucked up, yo. Jeez. And I was really sad. And Planet Fitness changed my life. I know, like, that's crazy. That is crazy, but it did. Like, once I started being active, quitting the DoorDash, because it's just too expensive. Like, please don't spend your money on DoorDash like that. Facts. The taxes are crazy. Yeah, no. But yeah, I was spending all my money. I was eating just a ton of shit. It was fun. It was fun at times, but it was a lot of food. No. And I just wasn't paying attention to anything. And I was depressed. And I was like, I don't know why. And people were like, oh, well, like, go for a walk. Like, my mom would be like, walk the dogs. Like, just go for a walk. And I'm like, that's so stupid. Like, shut up. Like, for real. Like, I heard that for real.
No, I feel that.
It's just so true. Like, go outside, breathe air. Like, it will make you feel, like, go into the, like, nature, go into the woods and just sit there. You'll feel better, promise, after it.
That's facts. I took a health psych class, and that's basically all the class was. But beyond the point, no, I remember when I was being more, like, walkable cities, like, anytime I'd visit, like, New York or DC or something of that nature, it feels a lot different when you don't have to hit the gym to get your exercise because everything is just so close.
Right.
Walkable
cities.
Bro, what? Oh my God. So I didn't have a gym all summer, but I was in DC, so I was able to just run everywhere. So I went and picked up running. And when I tell you the endorphins that just release based off just purely running and how you just get in the best shape ever just because you're running, you don't really need to lift or anything like that. So yeah, no, most definitely try out lifting. But on the thing that you you asked me earlier, I would say it's not so much like the pretty privilege of it. It's more like confidence can and I'm sure that's
different for men too.
Yeah, I feel like it's more of like confidence can mask what you look like because it's like I think that I said a couple episodes ago is like everyone is fuckable. You just have to be.
That's so true. Yeah. That's the biggest point ever, and that's like what a big thing I want to talk about too, and just I feel like in general because I don't know, it's weird. I feel like people I don't get a lot of opportunities or anything, but I don't know. I feel like people talk to me, and I really like talking to people, and that brings opportunities and just being open in general and just being your full self and really not caring about the consequence because it really doesn't matter. You can be who you are.
Of course.
Brings so much beyond pretty privilege. I would even say it's hard to say because it's I don't know. Sorry, I'm stuttering like crazy. Pretty privilege is a huge thing.
No, facts.
But and just in this society for sure is a huge thing and a huge factor. But if you have the confidence and the personality for and you're just an open person,
people will just enjoy being around you.
Exactly.
And especially for men, if you're able to just be in the vicinity, if people just enjoy having you around, there's a lot of blessings that will come from just being there. So work on being 100%. Able to just be enjoyable because I feel like a lot of people just give just this negative energy out in the world and people could just tell that.
Yeah, you feel that. That's the number one thing. Genuine energy above all else. If you have a genuine vibe, you're being yourself, that will go further than anything else you can do. When I'm talking to somebody or when I'm looking for a partner, personally, looks aren't a huge thing for me at all. If you're easy to talk to, you're somebody that is really nice, a kind person, you like other people. It's that bad? Are those low standards? You tell me. I don't know.
You just date ugly people?
Yeah.
You date uglies?
No.
That's just what
I don't know. I don't know. What attracts me is definitely somebody's personality, but also just how they go about life, their view of life, how they see the world and how they perceive things. I don't know.
How do you describe that?
I don't know.
Is it more the aloof guy? Is it more the super assured of themselves?
I mean, aloof is fun sometimes. Those guys are just they don't give. They're funny as fuck and they don't give a fuck. But if you I don't know. If you're kind, that's the number one thing. If you're a kind person, I notice how people treat other people. If you a guy or a man that treats other people really well, like elders, but also children, just like anybody, women, everybody. I love that. I don't know, just the way you are. If you're a nice person, I really like that. And like that would attract me above all else. And then confidence is a huge thing too. Like if you go out of your way to talk to people and do that thing, do that kind of stuff, that's obviously going to attract more people versus like, you know, just, and I mean, if you want to be just be yourself. Like, if you don't want to do that too, like, you don't need to attract anybody. I don't want to be like, oh, this is how you need to act or anything. But like, if you're yourself, then that's going to be the most fulfilling thing for you. And you're going to be the happiest at the end of the day. But yeah.
Is it hard finding genuine people when you are trying to like just interact like out in the world? Or does it seem like everyone's just constantly like trying to like get at you like when you're outside?
Yo, that's interesting. What do you mean by get at, like flirt type thing?
From flirting to just like actively like trying to talk to you just because you're you, things like that.
That's
out of nowhere, they're just making it sexual out of just right out the gate, things of that nature.
Yeah, that's actually like super interesting because I was thinking about that heavy like last night because I kind of like went to an event and like I talked to a lot of people and like a lot of men and like a lot of cool men that like do, you know, interesting things that I'm like interested in. And I don't know, I feel like the direction of the conversation a lot of times, not a lot of times because I do meet like really cool guys and I love that, but it's, I don't know, more than I used to in the past. Like the direction of the conversation is like, oh, you know, like I want to take you on a date or like, what are you doing tonight? Like, you want to come over? And I'm like, oh, like I just wanted to know what you did for work and I thought it was really cool and I like your art. Like, I don't know, like stuff like that. That's, I have been noticing that more recently, and that's really hard because it's like you don't feel like, I don't know, you can covet any like genuine type of relationship with people. Like I want to have, like when it comes to like anybody, but especially men, like I want to have genuine relationships with men that aren't like sexual because it's also like, I don't know, like wants to have sex all the time. I don't, sorry, like I'm making this awkward, but like it's just like, I mean that's important between people. It's like just having relationships and masculine energy and feminine energy. Having both in your life is very important. Like I want like masculine energy in my life that isn't sexual, isn't about that, you know.
I feel you.
Yeah, so I feel like it's definitely a thing, and that's when it comes to like pretty privilege. I don't know, that makes me awkward to say because it feels like I'm proclaiming that I have like pretty privilege, but like,
do you not believe you do?
No, I do believe that I do, especially now, but it's just it's an uncomfortable thing for me, which is, I don't know if it should be or not, but yeah, I don't like, I feel like I've experienced both ends of the spectrum just when I was younger, at least, maybe until I think kind of glue up when I was like a junior in high school, kind of a little bit. Gained a lot of weight, but still was like looking better. I don't know. I just like learned how to do makeup a little bit and like, you know, like grew into myself a little bit. But yeah, but then I feel like it changed a lot when I graduated high school and I started going to the gym and I lost a lot of weight. Then I started getting a lot more attention from men in that way. So I do definitely feel like I experienced pretty privilege. It's like there's pretty privilege, and that's like looking from the outside. Like I know when I was like in middle school, I'd like look at like the girls, usually like the white girls, I'd be like, damn, like they're so pretty. Like, I mean, like for a lot of middle school, I was kind of like a weirdo and I didn't give a fuck. Like I wasn't like looking at guys or anything. No,
I had a feeling you was a weird kid.
Yeah, I didn't care. But like maybe like freshman year of high school is when I like really started like noticing it, and I went to like a Catholic, like very majority white high school, so I would like see like the white girls that like everybody was fucking on, and I was like, yo, like if I looked like that, like I would be way better off and shit. But yeah, sorry, where was it? I'm sorry.
Just such shock for no reason.
Yeah, right. Like we're over there. They're like, why are you talking about that?
The people that they fucking on, bro. That's not even my. No,
no, for real. But it's like, yeah, I saw that, wanted to look like that. Now I grew out of high school, and I'm like, oh, I'm getting all this attention. But then I realized, like, just because I'm getting attention that I would have loved when I was younger, or like thought was just like so cool, it doesn't mean it's like genuine. It doesn't mean it's going anywhere. Like getting attention, at the end of the day, it's just attention, or like it's just a man that is looking at you sexually, and that's the extent of it. Like they're not seeing you for what you are beyond that. And sometimes that's even harder versus like being able to meet people and like know where you're going in that relationship. Like I was saying, like it's like yesterday, I feel like I had like some experiences where I was like, damn, like I wish like these guys would like talk to me about like what they're working on. Like I want to talk about work, or I want to talk about their art or what they're doing or their passions, and I want to talk about mine and like exchange that genuine conversation. But it's like, oh, yo, like you want to stay with me tonight? Like what? And then like so you just have to shut it down and like keep pushing. Like that's not gonna go anywhere. That's not like a conversation. Like that's not where I'm at. So it's like, yeah.
I feel that. No, from my own experience, I purposely don't get haircuts for that exact reason, right?
Haircuts are crazy. The haircuts are crazy.
So one of my things, I realized that like I look, especially in the area of like the Midwest, there's not that many like black people that like look like me. So I tend to look better than the average people that's like around me in this area, right? So I don't really need to go above and beyond.
Do you like, how often do you like think about appearance as a man?
Me personally, low key a lot, like an obnoxious amount.
Yeah.
Because I've learned if you can maximize the way you look, there's a lot of blessings that come from that, right?
That is true.
So people tend to be like, not even just like the whole, they're just nice to you because you're attractive or anything like that, but it's more like people give you more chances, and people think that what you're saying is not even just like smarter than what it is, but like people will sit there and like think, oh, he's not as mean as he really is. He's just being banter. This is just him having banter type of thing. Right. So you get a lot more chances if you're like looks maxing. So, yeah.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, no, and that's such a good point. And too, and like honestly, I would like go on to say that it's like people would think that you're smarter, or like what you're saying is more valid if you're more attractive. I feel like becoming more attractive, people listen to me more and like heard what I was saying, or like I don't know, that's like extremely contradicts what I was just saying before. But I mean, like
they're paying attention. Yeah, they're not here.
Right. Okay. But it's like it really just depends on the situations. Like either there's like situations where it's like people will listen to me, or like I can walk in the room. I'm pretty tall, so it's like being tall too, and I'm sure that's a huge thing for men. Being tall, I feel like people listen to you like insane amounts, but like which is crazy. But yeah, but like it being attractive, like people do just listen to you.
No, facts.
Take it for real.
So I have a feeling that like if I was to like take that above and beyond, I feel like I would not be ready for the things that would come from me, like actually like really caring about the way I look, like for real. Because like I have skincare routine and stuff like that, but it's not like a real like deep in dive of a skincare routine. Right. So. And I already have like pretty all right skin. So imagine if I'd actually take that. I'll tell you, if I took it a little more serious, I'll be able to even look even better.
Yeah, you'd be flexing on y'all.
Like, no, oh God,
crazy stuff. No,
but that's just me. That's just me though. But no, as I start going through that, because of like I have a lot of friends where it's like, oh yeah, no, this is literally like a pretty dude. This is a pretty nigga, and it's like the way I watch women like interact with him is like. You don't care. You're one thing I've learned. A lot of women are a lot worse than men when it comes to objectifying, because like no one like actually calls them out on their objectifications. That's
interesting, and that is really true. Women will say some out of pocket shit. Yo, I've experienced it. Like I'm a woman and I get into the conversations and it's like, damn, I'm like, oh, he looks good. Like I wonder how that dick is. Like, no, I'm sorry.
Just straight to it. Just
I'm like, to it. No, for real. Like women do objectify men. How does that like affect y'all? Like seriously, like, going through life.
Me personally, I'm not attractive enough to get objectified to that nature.
Really? You don't think so?
I've got them like, here and there.
Damn, you should hear my friends talk. It's insane. We objectify everyone. No, I'm just kidding. We really don't. And I like nice people, I promise. Like I was being totally for real.
No, because it's like, because I've had some experiences where I'll be like at the bar, motherfuckers will be like walk up to me and just like do like the rub on your chest, or just like start just like chatting crazy. Right. Off rip, I don't know who this human is, but they're just straight to it.
Yeah, but so like where do men go from there? Because I feel like in a lot of situations, it's like they'll experience that, and it's like, yo, okay, so she's on me. But is it really like that? Do you, like, if a woman comes up to you and she's like, oh, like, how are you doing, handsome?
Me personally, I think that's a trap. If
you stay away from that kind of activity.
That sounds like you're trying to get me caught up because of who sent you and why are you doing this?
Yeah,
out of the open like this. This just seems kind of dangerous. But from my own view, it's more like, personally, I don't like when people like me more than I like them, because it's like, all right, it's like semi-fan behavior, but that's just
that's true. Like, what you doing? Damn, that's crazy. I'm just like, I don't know. I feel like I always like everyone more than they like me. I like I don't know. I'm actually weird bitch.
Because my whole thing is like, if you're a fan of like what I be doing, because I tend to like do a lot of work and stuff like that, that's cool. I know that's where the relationship is, where it's like, it's parasocial. I know that. But if it's like you're a regular person and you're viewing me as a regular person and you're still wilding, it's like, all right, bro.
Damn, but wouldn't you take that as a compliment? Like, my energy is just so great that like,
I love, like, yeah, appreciate it, thank you. But it's not like,
it's not
you feel me? It's not for to like elevate from that point.
I totally feel that. Damn, that's interesting, because it's like, I mean, from what I've noticed, it's just a different situation, because like women, when it comes to women and men like being all over them, a lot of the times I feel like they're like, oh, I roll, like he's another man that's like trying to get at me. But then like I feel like I notice with men where it's like, oh, like nuts, like she's on that, like that's crazy. Like, yo, I literally yesterday,
it makes our day.
Yesterday I ran after a man and I was like, can I have your number? And him and his friends were like, yo, like that's crazy, like you did the most. And I'm like, yeah, like damn. And like they were talking about it, I'm like, yo, like I mean like, I don't want to escape the opportunity. I'm never going to see you again, maybe. So I'm like, just going to put it out there. Going to be honest. Like, of course. Who are you? Who? That's my riz. Who are you? That's it.
I feel like you just come to people and just like, you're as awkward as possible, and then they just like, you know what? Fuck
yeah, that's the thing. That's probably pretty privileged, because I'm fucking like awkward and I feel bad about it. Like, I don't know. Like, should I, like, is this okay? Like, if this was anybody else, would they be, you're making me think about things. Like, if this was anybody else, would it be acceptable? I mean, like, probably, duh, girl, like, you're not Beyonce. Like, what do you mean?
I feel it.
But, yeah, what were we talking about again? Like, back to...
Did you smoke before you pulled up?
No, I didn't. I just like this.
This is just part of your life?
Yeah, I mean, this is also like nervous energy, like you being coming out and stuff, and I'm like, but like, it's really just, like, if I did this a couple more times, I feel like it would get a little bit more fluid. Like, I could do it easier, but like, I'm like looking anywhere but the camera. I'm over here like trying to hide my armpits, like, yo, shit is not okay.
No, I feel that. But no, what brings you peace?
Oh, what brings me? That's a huge question. I feel like a lot of things. I don't know. I feel like, well, there's like the obvious, like my friends and my family bring me a ton of peace. I feel like I don't know what I would be doing without my friends and my family. I live with my entire family now. I moved right after high school. I moved out for 2 years to Minneapolis. I'm from St. Paul originally. And then after the 2 years, I moved back to my mom's house, which is like kind of hard. Like, it's kind of weird, like moving from like being alone to back to your parents' house. But I also like really love it because I like live with my whole family. My brother and my nephew just moved out, but my nephew like spends a lot of time at my mom's house. So I see him all the time, and that grounds me. Just like if I'm going through a lot, I'm like, I see this 2-year-old baby boy and I'm like, I feel good. Like, this is just happiness, like encompassed. Like, he's a child. Like, he is so fresh and new into this earth, and he sees things just so beautifully and is so happy all the time, and it just brings me so much joy. And then also my friends like are extremely grounding, and it's really important to have like a community and just people that you can, outside of yourself, that you can like go to when you need it. But then also just like little things. I feel like, I don't know, I get kind of anxious and just like I get wrapped up in like little problems in life and stuff. And then when I just like take a step back and I'm like, if I'm just doing something and I see like an old man walking down the street, just like enjoying his day, I'm like, yo, it puts things into perspective. Like everything's fine. All of my problems aren't as big as they seem, you know? Like
why don't you notice that?
What?
Why don't you notice that your problems aren't that big?
I mean, they're big because like they're my problems and it's my life. They're big to me, but they're not. The world is so big. Like there's so many, like there's so much beyond myself. And when I really see that, and I see like the beautiful little things in life, like just like the really like human shit, just like people, you know, laughing on the street, or like just like the most like cringiest like cliche stuff, but it's like actually like just so grounding to just take a step back, like breathe and see it. Like that brings me so much peace. And then like exercise, I really love exercise. Like I love to exercise. That brings me peace.
I feel that.
But what about you?
For me personally, I feel like curating my own existence, like being able to like make what I want or do what I want to the point where it's like, so recently, for the past like, I feel like 2-3 months, everything I've said just like happened. And it just feels really good being able to like, whatever I want in the world is just like, it just gives it to me. Because it's like, it's not even on some like, I'm working so hard, I should deserve all this, but it's more like, I just find it like interesting that the world like cares what I want. Because it's really rare for a lot of people when they're like, oh, I want to go and do this, and they like actually do this. Because I feel like there's a lot of self-sabotage that does go into a lot of people, especially when it comes to like in this like age range of like from like 17 to like 24.
Tons of self-sabotage.
If it's not staying with someone that doesn't really like benefit you in the long run, or if it's like choosing joy before you choose like work or things of that nature, it's super easy to just go down the wrong path, right? And it gets to the point where it's like people aren't exactly honest with themselves, and they don't know what they want because they've never really got a chance to really sit down and be honest. And I feel like a lot of it comes from the whole like social media, TikTok and stuff like that, because it's I feel like when you're consuming, you're never creating, because of like, it's really hard to be like a creative person when you're just always taking in information. That's why I be trying my best to like delete TikTok, because of like, I feel like it's trying to force me to be beautiful, and I'm not with it.
And it's just, TikTok's kind of like a cesspool of just like trends and things happening and like overconsumption, which I've really noticed a lot. But I want to like, before we go into that, I want to like step back. Do you feel like things just come to you naturally because you just have like this like at ease feeling like everything's gonna be okay? Like, or do you think it's like just this blind faith of like everything's gonna work out, and does that like bring it, or is it because you feel like you take active action to like make things happen?
I feel like, you ever heard of that? What's that one saying where it's like, if anytime you're chasing something, it just gets farther away. Once you stop, it just comes to you.
Right.
I feel like that's really what it is. And it's not that I'm like not doing the work. It's more like I'm doing the work and I'm not expecting the thing to come. A
combination of both.
Exactly.
Yeah, totally. I'm like a firm believer in that. If you believe and you firmly believe that everything will work out and you actively work towards those goals, everything shall. Like, what wouldn't happen? And you just keep with that. Yeah, that's a great mindset. But yeah, where were we going? What was the next place we were going?
I was talking about how like TikTok makes you less creative because you're just constantly consuming things.
Yeah, it really does. I feel like TikTok is so toxic. Like, it's fun. Like, don't get me wrong, the little sounds and stuff, it's like fun to make a TikTok once in a while, but it's just too much. It's like information overload. Like this trend's coming in, this is coming in. People are trying to keep up with like everything that's going on TikTok, and it's like, yo, this isn't real life for real. Like this is just an app. But yeah, I feel like I've noticed that people have like created full personalities like based off of TikTok, just like off of the trends, and it's easy to do. Like I do that too. Just like you hear the trends, like the sounds, and it's like I do that. Like me and my friend were just talking about like like just vibe twin. Like, have you heard that? It's a TikTok trend. If you haven't, that's a good thing that you haven't. But like, it's like, and I know somebody knows what I'm talking about. It's like just vibe twin or whatever. It's like that. I think we've said that to like maybe like 4 random people like this past weekend, and like every time they're like, hey, just vibe. Like it's nice because it's kind of like a mutual, like if you say that, like most people are gonna like be like, yo, just vibe and like laugh about it. But it's like beyond that, it's like so much of like what we do, so much of like what we like is like from TikTok, and just it's a lot to keep up with. It's the way, like you were saying, like the like beauty standards on TikTok, it's like a constant new thing, or at least for women, it's like every day it's like, oh, like, is your jaw too big? Or like, oh, like your ribs are too flared. And like, oh, like this is the 10-step skincare routine that everyone's doing now. It's like constant like trends that people are hopping on, like when it comes to like fashion, physical appearance, like everyone's just trying to keep up. It's so toxic. Yeah, it's so bad.
Facts. I feel like it's super hard to just like be yourself for real, because it's like really boring. One of the things that I've like noticed, remember when Brent Faiyaz dropped his album? I feel like everyone was like trying to like emulate that whole.
Wait, which album?
The new one.
Okay, yeah.
The very mid one, personally, but you know that's a whole other conversation.
Wait, is it Wasteland? I'm like,
Wasteland.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm keeping up, I think.
Everyone was like just trying to like just be that aesthetic, right? And I've learned that personally, I think he's semi-faking it. That, and also like you as a regular person, that's not the life that you are living. Like, I feel like the whole idea of like Brent Faiyaz, right, is like being able to have whoever you want whenever you want, just because you are who you are, and now you're sad,
right, and be toxic about it. Yeah, and now you're sad because of it.
Exactly. And people don't really realize how like in depth that idea really is, and that like whole pathos and ethos of it, because of it's like, I feel like you can't really relate to someone if you're just like behaving as like an aesthetic.
Yeah. So
it gets to the point where it's like you're just playing a role, and then they're just like basing who you are based off that role, and you're not really being genuine. Like
people aren't like experiencing their full range of emotions because they're trying so hard to be like you said, like this aesthetic, like this. They're like, what is it, like I think there's like something like called like core, like fairy core, or like this, or just like different aesthetics basically. And it's like people like ascribe themselves to that like so heavily that they can't feel outside of that. They can't be anyone outside of this, like, I can't think of anything off the top of my head. I'm really bad at this, but like I said, like fairy core. So I have to be like dainty and girly all the time, or like clean girl aesthetic, or like, which is also just like super toxic and like,
what's that?
Weird. Clean girl aesthetic. Oh, that's interesting. It's like the new wave, I feel like, especially if you're on like TikTok. It's what a lot of women are trying to like get at. So it's like basically like less makeup and like everything. I'm not really a part of it. I'm like the opposite of a clean girl. Like I have sweat stains and stuff. Like, sorry, I'm never gonna be the clean girl. I don't
just
know.
Ruining my couch.
Yeah.
Continue.
I'm so sorry. Like I feel bad. Like it's like all fun and games, but it's not fun and games when it's you and this is your couch. Like I apologize.
No, you're chilling.
Yeah, it's like just, you know, eating right, like getting to the gym maybe at a certain time, like drinking your like greens, like your smoothie, and like doing like living this like perfect life, which it's like there's like amazing habits within that, but like the actual aesthetic is kind of toxic of like, oh, like you need to look this way. And it's also like very I don't know, maybe I won't go into it like that, but yeah, it's just, it's not, I don't know, and then tomorrow it's gonna be dirty girl, like there's always something, like, I'm sorry, I'm spitting, like hopefully it's dirty girl tomorrow, because no, I'm just kidding, I'm not gonna do that. But yeah, it's constantly, it's ever changing, and it's you can't realistically keep up with that, and you can't develop like your own personal, your own personality like that, and that is so important. Like if you don't have like a personality, you don't have like traits that are specific to you and your life, and it doesn't reflect in how you like live your life, then I feel like you're lost and confused. You don't have an identity. And I feel like having an identity is super important. And without an identity, and I feel like going all the way back to what we were talking before, I feel like I was really struggling with my identity when I was feeling depressed. And that was another piece of everything. Like, I didn't feel like I knew who I was or what I was doing. And obviously, like, at this age, like, you're not going to know exactly who you are. But having like a community, B, an identity, something to relate to that's personal to you is really important. And then like going on and like living your life in that way. So like having values, beliefs that are like personal to you, like things that are important to you. It's not like a trend or an aesthetic or something. It's literally your person. Like everything, every experience you've had in your life coming together to create this person. Like every experience, all of it, you know? I don't know if I said that, explained that. Did you catch on to that?
No, I feel like I'm picking up what you're putting down. Of course. No, I feel like it's kind of hard to do that because I feel like the world wants you to be like aesthetically pleasing to begin with. And when you are kind of like pushed towards like this whole identity, it's kind of easy to just like keep going down the whole like rabbit hole of like who you think you are. Kind of like, I know a lot of like black people, like especially in the Midwest, where it's like they're like whitewashed all the way till like they get to like their sophomore year of college, and they just like start out of nowhere just like really embracing blackness because like they got a chance to like disassociate from the stuff that they were going through like throughout their whole life before they even got a chance to like see that black people like have money to begin with. And now you can like see that they're just like quote unquote becoming who they are. But I feel like that's also a very tricky conversation because it's like, why is that so much different than who like the person was before this? And is that person inauthentic because of this person that he is now is what you like? Right. And you don't even fuck with this person that he was before. Right. Because of like, if you were to ask the other people that he was friends with before, you'd be like, oh, I enjoyed when he was like cool with us, and before that he went and changed who he was, became more black, got more really in tune with himself. So I feel like as a person, the conversation gets really difficult when you try and figure out if the person is like, if the person is true within themselves and the whole like have an identity and free will and stuff like that. Because of this actually brings up a whole nother point. I've been thinking for the longest that's like, so do you know how recently AI has been blowing up and everyone's been like really into it, and people have been wondering, oh, at what point is AI human? And I've been thinking it's like, well, at what point is humans to really begin with? Because it's like, how do we know we're not AI? Exactly. Yo. So it's kind of like, what makes me human? Is it the fact that I have empathy? I'm pretty sure you could teach empathy because like I don't think babies like straight out. Do babies have empathy straight out? No, they don't because they don't care about toys. Yeah, no. Look at me remembering class.
I feel like babies have the like least amount of empathy. Like babies will straight up like take your toy or like call you fat and not give a fuck. Just like, run away. Literally, your children in general, like you're the ugliest person I've ever met. Run away. Go off and throw go on about their business, like lick their ice cream and stuff like that. Exactly.
What? So they had to be like socialized to learn like how to interact with other people. Nah, facts. I'm just kidding.
Just talking about my nephew.
Oh no, I'm talking about my nephew too. But that's me. What is this motherfucker like? 12, 14 months. Really young. But no, but yeah, we're getting socialized continuously, like all the time. So at what point are we learning how to be human compared to like we were just born with?
Whoa, human? That is such an interesting point. And it's like, is that what we're doing? Are we AI right now on TikTok? Because it's like AI is constantly learning. Are we just constantly just consuming media, blah, 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 regurgitating it? Sorry, I'm gonna like stutter a million more times in this thing. But that's actually I've never thought about that. That is so interesting. It's like I've thought about like how do we know we're not in a simulation? Like how do we know this isn't Like, it very well could be, like, I don't know, maybe is. But, yeah, that's so interesting. We could just be getting
just
inputting information.
Ones and zeros.
What makes us human? What makes us human?
I feel like the only thing that makes us human is the fact that we care about other humans. I feel like that's like the base of it, and then we move on from there, because it's like kind of like with animals. Animals, they usually only care about like their other species.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. I might be wrong. I'm not a. What is
Yeah.
what is the person that studies animals?
Yeah,
Zoologist.
This is gonna be zoologist.
There it
like,
is.
Yes, bro. Like, can we cut this part out? This got embarrassing. I'm like, what did I say? But yeah, biologist is like any animal or like
Any
human.
bio.
Yeah, bio. Yeah.
But no.
So smart.
I feel like it's that, and just like the ability to just like continuously just adapt. I feel like that's the only thing that makes us like different than other things. But then it gets to the point where it's like other like animals can adapt at like crazy rates. So does that make them human? No. So is it like our way that we can just like think of higher beings and things of that nature?
I think, and maybe this is like me just like spitting out my philosophy class, but I think like it's our ability to just like think beyond like basic, like when it comes to like differentiating like us between like animals and stuff. I feel like it's just our ability to
think in the future.
Yeah, think to the future. What is that, Schopenhauer? To like think to the future, to think beyond. It's less of like survival for us. It's more like what's next. Like what's like we think about the future, we think about the past. It's not about the present and just trying to like actively like live in this moment and like, you know, eat, drink, like basic needs. It's like we're living in the past, we're living in the present, sometimes we're living in the future constantly. Like what's next, what happened before, living and all that. I low-key choked on my gum. I should spit that. I know you saw that.
Maybe a little bit, maybe a tad. We're reaching to the closing of we're reaching to the area of Wish I Had a Sensei, where my guest goes and gives some advice that they wish that they had growing up as a child, who for them now or them in the future.
Wow. Okay. If I could tell myself anything as a child, it would so genuinely just be that it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay, and breathe and be yourself and experience everything fully. Just be yourself and experience things, and don't think and worry so much about how other people are perceiving it, because it just genuinely doesn't matter. You'll be happy if you're yourself. And I feel like that goes to everyone. Be yourself, please.
All right, y'all. Appreciate y'all for watching, and we out.
Yo, bye. Hey, is that it? Yo, okay, that was fun, like really fun. I'm so bad at selfies. Yo, that was a great time. Oh